Hey, everyone. Good evening. So good to see you this evening, even though I can't see you with my physical eyes. I see you. Thank you all for joining me for another episode. We're on 35, another episode of Take Me Down a Rabbit Hole. We're talking about science, history, philosophy, religion, conspiracy theories, everything in between. So let's kick it off tonight. I hope everybody was doing well. I would love to hear if anything new has been going on in your week, because we're definitely gonna get into some new stuff. And already, Nope is kicking us off. So first things first. Hello, everyone. Sarah, hello. Good evening. Nope, hello. I cannot see everyone's name that comes in here, but I just really, really appreciate those who join and even if you're just here listening, you're here. And so I thank you so much for the support. Nope says Serena Williams, built like a white woman now and lost all that weight. My day is ruined. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Serena. What I will say is that I remember back in the day, Serena was that go-to girl. That's what all the guys liked. They couldn't stop talking about Serena. And then I actually don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with her. All of a sudden it was the bleaching rumors were coming out and then she got with her husband now. So I don't know if it's a self-hate thing with her or if she's just a victim of lighting, as she likes to say most times, but I don't know. I just remember when. I'll just leave it at that. So, aloha. Good evening. I feel like I see a new face, so it's really, really good to see you. Y'all, let's kick it off tonight. Obama name change. I don't know if you guys have been seeing what's going on. So first things first, Michelle Obama has a podcast with her brother. And I actually don't know what they talk about, but what I have seen trending is that Michelle's been saying a lot of disparaging things about Barack, even to the point where they asked her if, I don't know if regret is a strong word, but she regrets not having a son. And she was like, heck no, I would not wanted a son because he might have turned it out. Sorry, I can't even talk tonight. He might have turned out like Barack. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, because according to half the world, Obama's this great guy, started off as a community organizer, worked his way up to a senator, became the first so-called Black president. And now you've got Michelle just on this podcast. She has nothing nice to say about this man. Nothing nice to say. Now, I know what I've heard about the man, but I just think it's very interesting that it seems as though his family, minus the youngest one, are really trying to distance themselves from him. So Malia, I guess she's the oldest. Malia has now dropped the last name Obama. Now, from her account, she's doing it because she wants to make a name for herself. She doesn't want the nepotism. I guess they're calling her a Nepo baby. She is a director. She just came out with her first, I don't know if it's her first movie, maybe her first or second movie. It's called The Heart. And so, yeah, she's trying to make it to where she's just being recognized based on her merit. And I don't see anything wrong with that. But I guess, like her mom said to her, people are going to know who you are anyway. You said hold on, let me go back to this: bleaching skin, straightening hair, losing all that weight. Yeah, if it sounds like it. I don't know. And I think a lot of women, her complexion, get accused of bleaching a lot. And again, I don't know if they're actually doing it. I don't know if it's lighting. I know that they do make a lot of makeups and even skin ointments now that you can put on your face. And unfortunately, they will have, in fine print that it's a skin whitening treatment. So again, I don't know if they're doing this on purpose, but man, oh man, man, oh man. I mean, she was always into the blonde hair and stuff like that. So she wasn't, let me shut up. She's been wilding out on her podcast from the beginning. For her to say that is insane, even though I think he's evil, but her saying that out loud is interesting. I think it's very interesting. And it's almost as though she's ready to spill the beans. It's like she wants to sing it to the rooftops about who this man is and what he's been doing. Yeah, he getting the Obama treatment. I mean, he's getting that Will Smith treatment. But he needs to, though. If what they say was going on behind the scenes is true, he absolutely needs to be outed. But that's going to be a cover up, just like what they're doing with Epstein. So I'm definitely not going to hold my breath for that. But hopefully y'all have read the emails for yourself and you've seen what this man is into. So I can see why she wouldn't want a doggone man like Barack. Y'all saw that picture I showed you when he's in that laced up dominatrix sitting on the lawn. He over here ordering hot dogs and stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't want a son like him either. But I mean, who knows? I guess we're going to wait and see what else she has to say. But a lot of people are assuming that the reason why Malia is dropping her name is because she's ready to I don't know if she's ready to out them as not being her parents, because the speculation is that Michelle and Barack are not their real parents, that they're really, the best friend's parents and all that stuff. So they're saying that that's really what's going on, but I don't know. I mean, she's like 23, 25 now. I don't know why she would, if that was the case, why she would wait, but we'll see. She's realizing all that evil they did wasn't worth it. Yeah. Now I ain't read the emails, but I know enough about him. Well, if y'all haven't read the emails, I probably can't say too much about it, but so what am I trying to say? Hillary starts going off on Barack Obama saying, we have a special place where we do our due at. And what had happened was he had flown in $65,000 worth of hot dogs. Hot dogs, according to the FBI database for PEDOs, is little boys. So he had been flying in $65,000 worth of little boys, and he brought them mofos to the White House. And Hillary was like, no, man, we got a special place where we do this at. Why would you bring them here? You're going to get us all caught, is what the email said. And I'll just say that I have seen videos of White House late at night, probably about 1 a.m., and they have children being escorted off of the grounds coming out of the White House. Supposedly there was tunnels down there that were running children to and fro. So yeah. So again, I say she probably knows. And for them to have called him Bathhouse Barry back in the day, he was with them old white men up in the bathhouse. Snorting cocaine and getting his knees dirty is what they said. So that's allegedly. I don't know. My point is, she's probably trying to do her best to distance herself. You say, oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, he needs to go to he needs to go to hell immediately. Yeah, it's tough out there, but we're in a time where information is coming to the forefront. I doubt any of these people are going to go down for what they've done. but at least people are hearing about it and stopping the idolization. That's really what needs to happen, is stopping the idolization. Like, it's okay to like people and like what they do and feel like they stand for something and you agree with them, but I mean, they were bowing down, worshiping this man. And then they still do. They still call him president. But yeah, so that's that Obama name change. And speaking of nepotism, I hear Solange is, her name is in the news right now. Apparently she's going back and forth with Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj has had some disparaging things to say about Jay-Z recently, about him owing her money, and I think she's lightweight. I don't know if she's laughing, but she has definitely had something to say about his paternity case coming up here shortly. I think they said what, the 18th or 19th. So we're a few days away off of that. I guess we're gonna see what happens. But anyways, I guess Solange is admitting, like, no, I'll conjure a spell on you. Like, I will put some voodoo on you because that's what we're into. And people have seen Solange coming out of voodoo stores. And so this is not secret information. And so that just reminded me, her little tiff that she's got going on right now just reminded me that they actually have a new show coming out. They actually already came out. Apparently it came out June 25th. It's called The Conjure Family. Okay, look at the caption. The Conjure Family brings real life spells to TV. Now, this is a show about a wealthy, of course they have to be wealthy, a wealthy, looks like a family of Black women who are into tarot card reading. They're into just witchcraft, period. And I was looking at some of the episode names. One of the episode names is Mami Wata, or Miami Wata. Now, if you're not familiar, maybe you haven't seen my video on water spirits, but Mami Wata is the equivalent of a mermaid. So a water spirit, a mermaid. And of course, they live off the coast. They're one of the things that come out of the water, and they start talking to people and things like that. But what I found really interesting, not only are, number one, it's a group of Black women. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because this is going to be a way that they're going to indoctrinate another large generation of people, more so women, into witchcraft. Most people that get sensitive about, I guess, African culture or African spirituality being washed out by Christianity are women, and Black women in particular. So now you have, listen, this says real life spells. They said they're going to be using books and so they're going to literally teach people how to do this. When women are, they said there's going to be spiritual drama. So you're going to get to see, the forces of light and dark fighting back and forth. And again, the wealthy part is going to be a big issue. Because right now, especially when people are struggling, people are getting evicted, having a hard time out there, what better way to get wealth than to practice witchcraft for most people? And I thought it was very interesting, especially when you look up the history and the origins of Mami Wata. She, even though her name means mother, she ain't got no family. She has no children. She ain't got no husband. She has none of that. And in the I think it's called the Kissy culture, the Mami Wata would grant them wealth in exchange for sexual celibacy. Now, although that sounds like something that we need to be doing these days, at the same time, what we've been talking about for weeks is that there is a big divide between men and women, between husbands and wives. There's a big push to abandon the nuclear family. And so now you've got this water spirit who comes, and she's interacting with these women and with these men and teaching them about how to not marry. And I just think it plays into a lot of what we're seeing these days. And so, again, a bigger push of what we're already seeing these days is not going to be a good thing, especially with the birth rate so low. Again, marriage rates are dropping. People can't stand one another. They can't even decide where to go to date. So this is just crazy. Yeah, it's supposed to be a reality show. Oh no, 6 puppies. Yeah. So yeah, they're pretty much at least I think 4 or 5 episodes in. They also had another episode called The Crossroads. Now, if you are not familiar with the origins of the Crossroads, it's a place where people go to sell their souls. So it's a place, and I don't know if it's an actual place, y'all, but they said that it is actual place. They can tell you the highway name and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, you go there, and then all of a sudden this man in black appears to you. You pretty much tell him the skills that you want, and then he gives them to you. So there was a guy back in the day by the name of Robert Johnson. He was a black blues player, but he wasn't good at all. And so he goes down to the crossroads, sells his soul, and they said that he was missing for weeks. And then when he came back, he could play. And he pretty much became the father of blues music. Robert Johnson died at the age of 27. So not only do people know him for selling his soul at the crossroads, and you'll actually see a lot of musicians like Eric Clapton and things like that. They'll revive his songs and cover them. But he was also part of the quote unquote 27 Club, which is the group of musicians that just so happen, just coincidentally, die at the age of 27. And there's a bunch of them, from Jimi Hendrix to Amy Winehouse to there's just a bunch of them. Freaking Kurt Cobain. And so, man, you just have this rise of witchcraft going on. Tarot card reading is really big. I always see, people's name, their handle names, so-and-so tarot card reader, or whatever it is. But that thing is really big in the spiritual realm. Now, I don't really know the ins and outs of tarots. I know that it relates to playing cards, but apparently these cards are numbered or they're like the alphabet, and they have different pictures on them. And these cards are supposed to represent your personality, your life, your destiny, blah, blah, blah. And so when you come to these people and they flip this card over, that's supposed to tell you your destiny. Now, unfortunately, from the comments that I've read, of course, it's fun until it ain't. And when somebody puts an omen on you, if they put divination on you, that pretty much is all that you think about. And then what do you think happens? Your actions follow what you think. And so you end up acting out whatever it is. One really big, if you guys have ever seen Carmen, not the old Carmen movie, not with Dorothy Dandridge, but the new Carmen movie, the hip opera with Beyonce, that's a really good example of tarot cards and how all that ends up coming to a head. So voodoo is big where I used to live in Louisiana. people would hang items like chicken bones and dead animals in their apartment windows. Oh yeah. Yeah, really, really big stuff. Hoodoo, voodoo, all that. You said your complaint sounds awesome. You said, I knew Beyonce African spirituality would open the mainstream floodgates for this BS. And let me say this. No, I'm not going to even say that people won't equate it. There's going to be some people that will equate it because we've been watching her for years put this stuff in her music videos. Now, I can't tell you the last Beyonce video I watched. I think I told y'all it was Haunted, and that's only because I was doing a video on her. Other than that, I had no idea homegirl was showing her booty cheeks in the videos. I didn't know that she was showing these demons, and I had no idea. But you're absolutely right. They're going to see that Beyonce is into that. And again, the idea is that it was stolen from us and we have to get it back. And so there's going to be a huge, huge push. And what do you think happens when that huge push comes? More childlessness, more fights with men and women, more. I think the only thing that confuses me is the fact that there must be sexual celibacy. But I think I can see that as well, because if the men and women are fighting, you keeping the cookie to yourself, that might be it. They're not hiding it. Nope, it was awesome for like 2 weeks now, dealing with 10 of them. I'm ready for y'all to go. New homes, everyone's getting evicted. It's week 6. Y'all are good to go. Yeah, I mean, rent is hardly livable these days. It's just crazy. No, they're not hiding it at all. Not hiding it at all. But most people will not know what that's about. They're just thinking it's episode names, nothing to it at all. So people are going to eat this up like candy. And then to be doing rituals and spells in front of it's going to reach millions of people, whether it gets popular or not. It's going to reach enough people. They actually exposing demonic rituals and not even sugarcoating it, and people eating it up. Yep, they're definitely going to. Edison, good evening. Hello. Yeah, I was just mentioning tarot cards because one of the things that I'm pretty sure are going to be showcased in this TV series are tarot cards. And then you can even see in the picture, look, you got white attire, black attire. I mean, they're just showing you. You got to be aware of them voodoo people. My neighbor in LA got arrested, and he had all these items for cursing people. We were watching him get arrested, and he had all these bones and foil and stuff. Yeah, you do have to be careful. Some people will take your hair. Some people will poke you with stuff with, after your knowledge, try to get your DNA. I mean, I think they can use almost any type of item and put a spell on it or conjuring on it. Sinners movie was the main push of witchcraft this year. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not a coincidence that all this stuff is being released all around the same time. The Sinners movie, along with this, then you got, I'm sorry, she's the High Priestess. You got the Cowboy Carter tour, hot and steady. So, you got Lil Ruby Carter doing her job, throwing up the diamond. I'm sorry, the pyramid, making sure she got her sigil magic working. It's a lot going on. A high witch once told me magic is just conjuring of spirits. Yeah, exactly. And you can even see that there is a lot of although all sleight of some magic is sleight of hand, right? Nothing wrong with that. But there are also people like the David Blaines of the world who, man, if y'all ever see some of the magic that he does, you can tell he's using um forces outside of this world. I'll say that to do what he does. And if I'm not mistaken, he's also admitted that he uses demonic powers in order to do his magic. Chris Angel might be another one. He's a pretty dark dude. So there's different types of magic out here, and some of it's all fun and games, but yeah. Mm-mm. She said she had protection and could control the spirits. I said, I'll plug when you're a vegetable. I'll pull the plug when you're a vegetable. Yeah. Um, but that's the lore of it though. The fact that you can control these things and that they somehow protect you again until they turn on you. Until they turn on you. Stage the whole thing. Um Hold on, you gotta fill me in. I feel like I missed something. Witchcraft has a lot to do with wearing certain colors too. In that world, different colors have meanings too. See, I don't know like I feel I don't think I have too much knowledge about the colors. Obviously, red is sacrifice colors, but um I know purple is a color from them, but yeah, I don't know too much about the colors, but I've heard that. You said Mason Order of the Golden Dragons of the Far East. What is that? I feel like they have so many orders, and I still have to look up your the order that you told me about the turtles. I thought about that this week, and then I forgot to look it up. Is that an actual order? Order of the Golden Dragons? Let's see. Yeah, I don't see nothing. Okay, you're gonna have to fill me in on that. They have voodoo in the movies, The Devil's Advocate. Do you know it? Oh, The Devil's yeah. Do you know it? Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, good movie. Yeah, I feel like I've watched it at least once, but it was so long ago I would need to watch it again too. But yeah, I do recall. I don't want to tell too much of it, but I believe it. And Keanu likes to play in a lot of stuff like that. Constantine. But I think he's admitted that he has a lot of demons in him. So maybe that's why he's able to play in these type of movies. Yeah, I bet they do put a lot of voodoo and real magic in these movies. I bet they do. A lot of times they'll take a lock of your hair. I knew a girl in high school who was into magic and spells on people. She told me she could give me a spell to make someone fall in love. Shoot, and even that's dangerous. And I don't know, like the movie The Craft, where they give them this love potion and then they become so obsessed with them. Heck no. Because obsessed people like to take you out this world. I would not want someone to be obsessed over me like that. But I mean, hey. Yep, I'd stay away from her. I asked her if she had a spell I could use to keep her at a distance from me. Yeah, something. I left a hair braider after I went in the back to go to the bathroom, and they were praying in the back, and my spirit was disturbed, and something told me not to let one piece of my hair touch the ground. Wow. You know that movie, Good Hair, the documentary that Chris Rock did? That was a real eye opener for me. When I realized that they actually do that in hair salons, they will sweep up your hair, they will pray over it. You know, they'll take whatever DD, pray over it, and then put that hair on a freaking wig, and that's what you slap on your head. And so you end up becoming literally possessed by these different spirits of the hair that you're wearing. That was a weird. I had no idea that that's where his documentary was going to go. I think that's when I was like, I think I'm good. Yeah, that's crazy. It's scary how many people were into that stuff. Growing up, I was into witchcraft because it was all over social media. I was into crystals and tarot. Shira Seven was my biggest influencer. Long story short, I threw it all away and came to Christ. Wow. See, I didn't even know that Shira Seven was into that. I just hear her, finessing men, but wow. Yeah, social media is definitely the big man. It's just so I don't know what to say other than it's influential. I seen it just speaking of the social media influencing people. I saw this little boy. I want to say the guy's channel, the man's channel is Dr. Prison or something like that, where he goes and talks to troubled youth. And he was talking to this one little boy, and boy couldn't have been no older than maybe 7 or 8. And he wanted to kill his family. And the guy was just asking him questions. He was like, why, what's going on? And he was like, I wanted them to go up there. And the man was like, up there where? He pretty much was like, to heaven. He's like, well, why do you want them to do that? He said, because I saw it on social media. Like another little boy had been talking about it. And so to him, it sounded like a good idea. I'm like, man, these kids, they're just kids. And you already got to sleep with one eye open for your 8-year-old? What? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't believe in manifesting anymore. And see, I still have to do the video on manifesting. I think I just had to get some videos out the way, especially about the spirit, so that people can understand. But yeah, manifesting, you just hear it so much. You hear it. Yeah. Everybody's trying to manifest. So yeah, I really want to dive into that and break that apart. There was a whistleblower staff from Chris Angel's staff that said he messed with demonic forces. That whistleblower died, oh my goodness, of natural causes. And you can't find that video anywhere anymore. I bet. And that's the thing about it. They can because they actually are dabbling with demons and stuff, they actually can kill you off, not even be in the room, not even be in the same state as you. And no one wouldn't be the wiser. Mm-mm. Well, I'm going to take note of that, and if I hopefully I'm try to find that, but I'm not surprised. I'm a radical hetero. I'm a radical heterosexual, and magic and witchcraft does but stuff. I'm not gay, so I can't participate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of that magic is um just a lot of fortune telling too. Yeah, I heard the colors thing. Joey Diaz is Joe Rogan's friend. He talks about Santeria. He wears all white on Monday. Oh, so he's actually into it. Mm. I don't even know what to say about that. So yeah, I haven't made the turtle video yet. Still gathering intel. Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to know why they would make an order of the turtle or whatever. The Japanese had a magic order of the red dragon. I believe it. They're the main ones that really detail the fact that the dragon is red. I don't know. Yeah, I've just seen a lot in their literature. I lived in California Hills in the early 90s when there was an active convent. There was a lot of stiff people showed up in the river, violated. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm noticing more and more. And I think I take every time I see a Masonic lodge, I take a picture and post it for y'all. There's one that I haven't taken a picture yet. Because the road is kind of weird. I have to get out and all that kind of stuff, but it's so enclosed, y'all. It's so cut off. It's got all these high, big old bushes around it, so you can't see in the windows. Got these gates around it. I'm like, but what I remembered was John Todd saying that he was here. And when he was over, when he was on the Council of 13, there was over about 30,000 different, I want to say, I don't know if it was practitioners, but there were so many. And so now I see them and I'm not surprised, but I'm just like, man, there's so many Masonic lodges around here. And I didn't know it, growing up, never knew what it was. The city where I grew up had a place called the Ozone where supposedly a bunch of kids died and was haunted, had a 33-foot by 33-foot Ouija board. I saw it with my own eyes. So, what was it? What was it? It was like a temple. Yeah, I'm just going to ask, what was it? Was it like a temple? Was it it's weird. And that's a big Ouija board. Love the testimony. Yeah. Any member who was asked, "Are you a turtle?" needed to reply loudly, "You bet your sweet ass." I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if you're playing around right now or if that's for real. I kind of believe it just because I know that they have weird little things like that. That's funny. We went there on Halloween and there was a fresh ram's head there. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm. Have you ever seen the ancient drawing of magic shows showing spirits doing the tricks that people can't see? No. I would love to see that. I will have to look that up. I just remember someone like David Blaine saying that. They weren't shy about that. So, that's scary. And then I think one of y'all told me about the levitating when people levitate, the demons can be seen holding them up. Like, that's some creepy stuff. Mm-mm. There's many of them from Asia before the 400s. Yeah, I believe it. There's a lot of Masonic lodges in Georgia. Yeah, I imagine the South is going to be littered with them. Mm. I think we have a headquarters here. Yeah, they're definitely very prevalent. It was a bridge where some kids died on a bus and drowned. but they erected the Ouija board on the grounds. They saw you can park on the bridge in neutral and small handprints on your car appear. That's weird because we have the same legend down here, minus the Ouija board. Mm-mm. Yes. Yeah, the levitating demons thing comes from Asia too. There's many old manuscripts showing monks levitating with demons under them. And you would think that the monks, never mind. You would think that they would be stay away from things like that, but they're just as caught up, unfortunately. Like monks are out and about now. Are y'all noticing that? I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong. All I'm saying is that they are out and about. We were actually at this Thai buffet that my mom likes the other day. And we walked in, and the monks literally with the orange get ups that swing around the front, they had that on. I was like, well, are y'all supposed to be here? How did y'all get here? Do you have a car? Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I know, not real monks. Couldn't be. Couldn't be. To each their own. I'm not trying to make fun, but I just thought it was interesting. It reminds me of the movie The Next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank, and they go bowling and stuff. I'm in Dallas. There's 4 lodges around me. Yeah, I feel like I see a new one almost every other day. And the one I'm thinking about, the one I feel like I have to show you guys next, it's on a main, it's not in the cut like the other lodges that I've seen. This one's on a main road. So it's just, like I said, hidden with big trees and bushes. Hold on, put this on. Yeah, not real monks. I told you, I think it's the same town you have too close to where I grew up. The Ouija board isn't there anymore in the early 2000s, like 2007, 2010. It was there. It's been destroyed, but there's pics. Okay. Yeah, maybe so. I wasn't here to I wasn't here in 2007. I think I moved back to town around 2009. But yeah, I never heard of that. I'm gonna have to ask around and see if anybody knows anything of that. The lodges in my hometown put on events for kids. Oh, really? See, the only ones that do that here are the Shriners. Shriners are a really big charity organization here. Everybody loves them. They have a huge building where they let you, obviously, I'm pretty sure they rent it out, but I know I've had a couple proms there and just stuff. So nobody knows like I said, they're all loved. Nobody knows that they worship Lucifer. And they're really big on the St. Jude's. So they're looked at as a really, really loving organization. I bet them old men get down and dirty behind closed doors. Don't want to belong to any club that will accept you as a member. Yeah. I don't know why, but that just reminded me because I think I just learned about this maybe 45 minutes ago. I didn't know that doctors, like, you couldn't just be a doctor. Someone was saying that you have to be accepted to be a doctor. So you could have all the schooling and stuff that you want to, but they have to bring you into the fold. And I thought that was actually pretty weird. Because if that's the case, number one, you got to find out, okay, well, who the heck is accepting the people? What's the criteria? And that means that you can accept those who are down with your agenda and don't accept those who are not down with it. And here I am thinking that hospitals are just, and maybe it's not all of them, but hospitals are just hiring you based off merit. Like, you did really good in your labs and stuff. So it just seems like everything is set up like a fraternity. Yeah. It was called the Ozone back when I was in school, and a few people knew about it. When I was in school, we would go on Halloween every year. There was tons of lore around the town about it. Yeah, that's weird. Fraternities and sororities are super pagan and demonic. Yeah. Found that out late. Found that out way late. Shriners, lodges, orders, knights, frat members, huge participation in philanthropy, but it's purely on paper. There's no real evidence that the money goes where it said. I don't remember. I don't remember donating to any charities and stuff like that in the sorority. Like the money. Now, being in a sorority fraternity, their mess is expensive. They want money for everything. They want money for meetings. They want money for the yearly boule. They want money for everything. And all the money went to the organization, from my understanding. There wasn't. I'm trying to think of how many times we actually did community service. I remember going to the nursing home. We might have picked up trash once, but no, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't. And again, it could have just been my chapter, but we weren't heavy in the community service like they said. Most of my community service came off my own. Mm-mm. Doctors have their special little events. Yeah, I see that now. You said doctors, cops, nurses. Had no idea. Cops, obviously, right? But not doctors. So yeah, they definitely got to accept you, which is like a brotherhood. Yeah. Like I said, what's the criteria? Definitely cops. The criteria is your ability to accept the overall agenda of healthcare and pharmaceutical industry. It has to be. I mean, I don't know. I do see some doctors and stuff standing up. So it could just be certain places that have it set up that way. Because, not everybody's down with the get down. Not everybody is. I don't want to put that on everybody. There's a lot of TO members where I lived before. They had a monopoly on small businesses in the town. I had some bad run-ins with them. I used to do laser engraving. They come in all the time. Wow. Yeah, I still have to do that video on OTO. Because that branch has a lot of different branches onto it. So it was pretty obvious to me when fraternities ask you to take an oath to Greek gods and are named after Greek gay stuff. I wasn't that didn't have the knowledge that I have now of that stuff. Like, again, we've always known about mythology. I think they pretty much teach that in school, but I didn't take it seriously because, I just didn't. It wasn't until I started getting convicted, like, wait a minute, what am I saying? What sorority? D9. Yeah, I was an AKA. Alpha Kappa Alpha. who one of their, I guess, animal symbolisms is a frog, you know. And that was one of the things that I thought about when the Lord started opening up my eyes about it. I was like, you know what? It's a doggone frog that they have us looking up to. And knowing that demons are pretty much likened to frogs. Yeah. Just disgusting when I think about it. There's really a good documentary on YouTube about the Divine Nine being demonic and pagan. There's a lot of people speaking out. That's all I can say is a lot of people speaking out. And yeah, which is a good thing. Most cops are Masons, yeah. Especially the tyrannical ones. I think I told y'all last week about the viral video of the guy telling cops he's a Mason and knows they are brothers, and they shot and killed him. He had to have violated some lodge rules. Wow. Yeah, must have. Unless he wasn't supposed to say it on camera. Hold on, let me skip a few. I denounced my letters a long time ago. A very, 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 very long time ago. I believe I only actively participated maybe 2 years. I crossed 18 years ago. I do not associate with the sorority whatsoever. Agents in place, you got me effed up. I'm for real. I, you can ask anyone who knows me. Like I've said numerous times, I still have friends in the organization. I still have family in the organization, but that's as far as it goes. I have thrown away all my paraphernalia. So yeah, no, I ain't no agent. Speaking of doctors, what's up with that live stream you posted earlier regarding vax? Yes. Oh, I'm definitely gonna break that down. I decided to couple that with germ theory and terrain theory because I told you guys a while ago that I was going to speak about that. So, oh yeah, that's definitely coming. I can't even believe that. I'll just say I hope more people watch that. Very eye-opening stuff. And if people go into this next year and get duped, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. But I will do my best to try to jam it packed with research and studies and all that stuff. But yes, absolutely coming. OTO is very inclusive. Oh, really? Yeah, I just noticed that they have the branches and a lot of orders dealing with it. Yeah. Yeah. So, what made you consider joining anything in particular that drew you in? So, honestly, it was more superficial. The first thing that drew me in, and that was when we first arrived at school, and they had like a big pep rally in the gym. And I saw these girls come in, they were doing their probate, and I don't know, I just like the aesthetic of it. They were pretty girls. I like the fact that they were stepping. Obviously, I've told you guys thousands of times, I'm a dancer, choreographer, and all that kind of stuff. So it was right up my alley. And then to know that they were really into education and they claimed that they were into community service and sisterhood. And I'm, Okay. I love education. I love community service, sisterhood. Okay, if they have to come along with it, okay, that's cool. Um, yeah, I just thought it was a place where like-minded people were gathering, which it is. It is a gathering of like-minded people. But again, I did not know that there were rituals associated with it. I didn't know that there were gods and goddesses associated with it. I didn't know that they would literally be having me pledge my heart and soul to the organization. Once again, tons of money is needed, and they want you to forsake all others for the sake of them. Um, and just like you said, the cops, they kill you off if you tell their secrets and stuff. They literally want you to advocate for foolishness, regardless of right or wrong. Just I told y'all I have a quote unquote line sister. Obviously, like I said, I've denounced, but she's 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 serving life sentence right now because she murdered someone, and they wanted us to write a letter to the judge to get her off. I was like, hell no. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. Um, so yeah, it looks good on the onset. And there's nothing wrong with having a net. See, it's all about the network. When you go to college, you're there to, when you get out, you want to have a career, you want to have a network of people. So they put all that stuff in front of your face. Um, yeah. I don't think you're an agent. You don't seem Jewish. Yeah. I mean, I guess if I'm an agent, then I have violated the rules of the agency. If I'm an agent, I'm not supposed to be telling these secrets. I'm not supposed to be showing y'all the white dress ritual. I'm not supposed to be showing y'all the symbolisms and the gods associated to it if I'm an agent. But okay. Girl Scout to AKA to YouTuber seems legit. I don't even know what that means. I've never been a Girl Scout. I don't know. I've never been a Girl Scout. Um, I'm just a pre-law major who loves knowledge and went to school to live the American dream. And I did the things that they tell you should do. Epiphany was a nerd, all right, and didn't want to get bullied. Oh no, I'm never gonna get bullied. I am never gonna get bullied. That's not in my nature either. um, no. Matter of fact, when I was in high school, they thought I was a gang leader, and not because I was into trouble like that, just because I was always into it with somebody because I was sticking up for somebody else. Like, oh, you're not gonna bully that person. You better, if you want, you know, you want to stand up to somebody your own size. That was me. So no, I wasn't getting bullied. Anyways, oh man, if it means anything to anyone, as a black man in college, I wanted to pledge, but I just couldn't. That doesn't make me an agent. This woman has to announce her letters, get off her back. I appreciate you, but yeah, not at all. He said, no, they're joking. He said, where you been? That's good to hear. Busy's good. Busy's good. You don't want to be a Boy Scout with the Catholic priest as a troop leader. It's a certain kind of recipe for doom. I imagine. You said you'll never marry a non-G letter guy too. My husband's not in a fraternity. Yeah, he's not in a fraternity. These fraternities are gay. Yeah, no, regular smuggler guy. Married my high school sweetheart. I've always thought fraternities were gay. See, we keep saying the same thing. I'm like, my husband thinks they're gay. And I don't have any gay tendencies, so I never thought about joining. And again, that's not something that they make it out to be. I think I was asked on another live about sleeping with people to get online. I'm like, no, I don't know anyone who slept with anyone to get online. But wait, nope, you said you're confused. I don't know what happened, but I don't know what the confusion is. Fraternities definitely got a gay undertone to them. They too brotherly. Again, it can be. I don't think that all are. Again, it depends on the chapter. Spitting eggs in each other's mouth and some weird activities. Yeah. You said we should change the subject. Can we talk about giant trees? What about giant trees? That's crazy. Brotherly love is code for gay sex and fraternities. Again, I don't know how the men got down, so I cannot speak to that. But speaking of gay, why a grown man called me baby when he walked past me and asked me how my day was? In the hell. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna say that it's a figure of speech. I have no idea. Yeah, this lady caught me with the little mama the other day. I looked at her. First of all, ma'am, you're smaller than I am, and I can't be your little mama. I cannot. You can't talk to me like that, ma'am. Yeah, I don't know what's going on out there, y'all. I've never had a hive mentality. It seems one must have one to join. I can't say. It's not that deep. It's not like they give you a script of what to believe. It's just, again, it's just, hey, if you're interested in education, if you're interested in enlightening yourself, if you're interested in networking, if you're interested, it's just surface level things like that. So it's not even, I didn't have to think like the next person thought, but they definitely were going to unite us under one idol. Okay, so the giant petrified tree, supposedly mountains. Oh, I hadn't heard anything about that. Yeah, that's definitely blasphemy against the word of God, because the Bible speaks on brotherly love. Nope, these folks got no shame now that being gay isn't gay anymore. They've definitely changed the definition of what gay is. I was trying to give him a pass for the speech, but I'm up north. We don't be saying that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've heard it being said, but uh, I can't say that I like it either. And I don't like the way he was looking at me. Some people do talk like that though, but it's still off. Yeah. Wasn't speaking of you personally, but most people that seek out groups don't know who they are. Yeah. And they find comfort in being in groups. Yeah. That I can understand as well. Hmm. But like I said, these are not just these are prestigious organizations, so they're not trying to just grab any old person. These are again, I try to make y'all see that I'm not trying to downplay the people that are in the organizations. These are highly skilled and educated people. Um, and they join the organization to be around like-minded people. I mean, and the mountains are allegedly giants and dragons that have fossilized. I know, I actually hadn't heard that. Um, hmm, I don't know what to say about that. That's a lot of fossilization. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I am seeing reports. They're saying like in Malaysia, they have a mountain that looks like a sleeping dragon. They have ones in China. Yeah, I don't know how they would come to that conclusion. I know that that petrified, they call droppings like animal droppings petrified rocks, but I don't they're obviously not as strong as an actual rock. Giants or mountains. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. Um yeah, I'll have to check that out. Oh, we get it. Frats are breeding grounds for the elites as they have been historically, but yes, can we please talk about the mountains? Yeah, you've got to fill us in on the mountains. No, I hadn't heard about that. Let me see. Giants are mountains. I'll have to do some reading. I mean, they have whole like 20-minute documentaries and stuff on this. No, I'll have to look at this. It makes sense because what they're showing y'all, what they're showing is pictures of mountains, but they are shaped like animals. Like you said, dragons and elephants and stuff like that. Um, I don't know why that would be. I mean, that is weird, but again, uh, animal droppings are not hard like that. Not to hold up a mountain through wind, rain, tornadoes, and all that kind of stuff. I'll have to see what they're talking about. They say pink salt is giant flesh from mountains. So the mountains are remains of giants and monsters of the pre-flood era. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'll have to look into that. We'll have to bring that up next time. Yeah, they do look like giants, but how many giants do they think there actually were for them to have created all these mountains and all these different mountain ranges? I don't know. I have to look. I have to look. You said examples of illegal baby names in the U.S. I mean, are there? I see that several states have imposed restrictions on baby naming, like King, Queen, and Jesus Christ. I don't see how. Don't Ti has a son named King. He got a son named Messiah. Queen Naja is a R&B artist, and Queen is her real name. Haven't met a Jesus Christ, but definitely people will name their sons Jesus. Majesty, Santa Claus. That's weird. You can't name him 1069. What is that supposed to be? That's weird. So that's crazy. I use pink sauce in pre-workout. I've seen some. Yeah, we talked about the YouTube covers it. It's still crazy. They say there isn't a client list. I don't know what's going on, but they're. I mean, I do know what's going on, but they're doing a whole lot to cover up that list. I mean, at this point, are we really going to be surprised about who's on it? They might. I mean, I don't know what to say. It was enough that he has to flood the entire planet. I mean, yeah, that's true. Mm. I don't know. I gotta look some more into that. Y'all heard about Diddy getting free this year? No, I hadn't. I hadn't caught up to see what they actually decided to do with him. So fill us in. What can you do? These people are walking free, knowing, and we know, or we've seen the alleged atrocities that they've been into, and they're just walking out like nothing. Nothing's even going on. There's no victims. There's no nothing. It's actually pretty sad. It's actually pretty sad. I'm hearing 21 to 27 months is probably where they're going with that. The Bible speaks of the whole societies of giants being killed in the Joshua Wars. Yeah, I remember them being slaughtered and stuff. I'm just trying to think, man, how many were there? Again, for their bodies to be mountains. Oh, yeah, that's true. If there were a bunch of giants, them climbing on each other to avoid the flood and drowning sounds hilariously accurate, like crabs in a barrel. Yeah, true. KD is a giant cannibal. Jeffrey Epstein hoped to seed human race with his DNA in 2019. That's disgusting. I mean, was he impregnating people? Did he get a chance to do it? The Rephaim were just one of the many giant clans in the Bible. The Israelites were told to slay them, all the women, children, animals, because of genetic mixing from Mount Hermon. Yeah. Yeah. Standing 6'4", Lincoln. There's hundreds of newspaper clips from the U.S. alone pre-1940 about giant remains being found in Oklahoma. Has a site where thousands of remains and mounds were found in a whole civilization. Yeah, I remember they were finding big old bones, big giant bones in a lot of different places. And we kind of look at people now, the tall basketball players and the people that have broken the records for being the tallest people in the world, but they don't have big old faces and stuff like what we're seeing them uncover. So yeah, they're way bigger than what we see. Not all mountains probably, but I believe some credence to it. And okay, can we talk about this pre-tourism? So I've been getting a lot of videos explaining that the Millennium Kingdom already came. I think there are some religions that believe that. But if I'm not mistaken, there's a particular verse in the Bible that speaks about it speaks against those groups of people. But let us get some understanding. So preterism is the belief that interprets some or all prophecies of the Bible as events which have already been fulfilled in history. The school of thought interprets the book of Daniel as referring to events that happened from the 7th century BC until the 1st century AD, while seeing the prophecies of the book of Revelation as well as Christ's predictions within the Olivet Discourse as events that happened in the 1st century. I don't know. I think a lot of that can't a lot of that be debunked just by the book of Revelation when it talks about the things that have to happen before the end comes? And the millennial kingdom is the 1,000-year reign, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right? And the 1,000-year reign comes after Christ comes back. So I don't know why they would think that these things have already happened. And if these things have already happened, right, that means that the so-called rapture has already happened. And so if the so-called rapture has already happened, then what the heck are they still doing here? Yeah, that don't make the math ain't mathing. The math is not mathing. I mean, do they think that the Antichrist came on the scene? There's a lot of questions. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I saw Lovelock Cave before it became famous. Is the only time I actually saw 100% evidence of them, not just stories. Oh wow, where's that at? Lovelock Cave. Oh, okay, you probably are telling me. Y'all are quick. Look into the giants of Sardinia. There's tons of evidence. There's local lore that young boys break into the giant caves and stay the night to lake wait to take on the spirit of the giants to become man. Oh. Mhm. Okay, that's weird. But yeah, there's two schools of thought For preterist, there's the partial preterist, and then there's full preterism. So partial, let's see. So the partial preterists believe that the Antichrist, the Great Tribulation, I can't talk, the Great Tribulation, and the Day of the Lord all happens in 70 AD during the persecutions of Christians under Emperor Nero. Yeah, so like if you think that, what so the Antichrist already came on the scene over almost 2000 years ago, 2000 years ago. So we shouldn't be here right now. Um some of them identify Babylon the Great with Roman Empire, which is a lot of people. Some of them interpret Nero as the beast. Oh, and they think they think the mark of the beast is when his head was stamped on every coin in the Roman Empire. Okay. It's said in the right hand or forehead. See, a lot of this stuff can be just picked apart when you know what the word says. Let's see, full preterism. Um, they believe that not only they believe the resurrection of the dead, the second coming, and the final judgment have all been fulfilled. So what? Yeah, I can't even give this any credence. So who are we supposed to be then? Yeah, that don't make no sense. No sense at all. There's a channel called Understanding Conspiracy, and he speaks on how the Nephilims look like clowns, colorful, vibrant beings, and it low key makes sense. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I wonder why they would say that. Um, this is why wrong doctrine is dangerous. It can send you straight to hell. Right, right. So I'm like, what? They're saying that Christ came, and we are currently in Saren's little season where he is given a chance to deceive. Oh, Satan's season where he's given a chance to deceive the nation once again. Oh, okay. Well, well, dang. So we didn't have a chance to accept Christ. There's a lot. Yeah, there's so many. That's a deep subject. There's a lot to be said about that. That doesn't add up at all. At all. And I heard the millennial kingdom already happened too, but I don't believe that. Yeah, then who the heck are we? Like, are we the resurrected? That don't make no sense. Yes, we can be in the 1,000-year reign because we would have seen Christ and New Jerusalem over us. So that's just simple, not true, because the veil would have been lifted, so no one has an excuse. Not only that, but all this killing and stealing and busting people over the head. We're supposed to believe that this is Christ's reign. That doesn't even make sense. No, they got to do better. We'd be saints in the tribulation. Couldn't be. Not the way life is going. Not the way life is going, Utah. Um, that's what demons are, the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, aka giants. The Bible. Hold on. The Bible makes this clear. It says when they die, they don't have a rest. They were never in the creation plan. Yeah. Exactly, Cam the King. I missed this one. The dead haven't rose. You know, if the kingdom already came, it says every knee will bow. Exactly. And people are definitely not doing that. So we can't be where they say we are in the timeline. They wander in dry places and thirst, but never find drink. Yep. He said, I wholeheartedly believe Deuteronomy and Isaiah 12:3 to 12:26 curses are upon the black race. Okay, let us pull this up then. Deuteronomy 12. Oh, wait. Yeah, 12. 3 through 12. Um, Maybe I didn't put that in right. You said no, we missed the Millennium Kingdom. I'll have to look up that scripture because I'm trying to see what I'll have to read through it. Yeah, that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, and that's not and that can't be, right? So no. Christ ain't reigning right if this is it. Yeah, and that's not good. I'm just saying I've been getting a lot of those videos. But that's another thing because obviously you know that there are three sects of even thoughts about the tribulation. You know, there's the pre-tribulation, there's mid-tribulation, there's post-tribulation. So there's a lot of people that believe that one, we're going to be taken out of here before the Antichrist comes. We're not going to have to see all the bad stuff happening. Then there's the other part that believes that we're going to be raptured in the middle of it. Okay. And then there are others that believe, obviously, at the end of those things is when Christ will come back again. So I think that they're, even though it's not one of the biggest deceptions, it does deceive people when they think that the rapture has already happened. When they think there's no hope, there's no saving, there's no, yeah. Um, Churches never speak of the blessings and curses spoke of in scripture. No, they don't. I'll be honest. I feel like I've heard the same scriptures over and over and over and over again in church. Like Easter is a certain scripture, Christmas is a certain scripture. You know, July has a certain scripture. It's just the same mess. And I was thinking about that last week when we got off the live because we started talking about people being disparaged, you know, about going to church. And I think a lot of it has to deal with the why is not being answered. Um, People like we hear the word, we can read it, we see it, but sometimes people just need to know why. And those questions were never answered. I don't say never, but those questions weren't answered like that in church. I always wanted a Bible study where we could talk about science and we could talk about different things like that so that when we did go to school and we heard countering arguments, we knew how to defend ourselves, or we didn't get weak in our faith because of what so-called science says. So you're right, but you're not allowed to speak of that kind of stuff because it's not a feel-good message, and you'd be shaming people if you actually spoke about what curses us. You're you're a people shamer if you do that. You should just let people be and live how they want to live. So that's just the sentiment going on right now. Okay, so Isaiah 3:12 through 26. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Let's see if you can see. I guess you said that this is the curse that you see as being put onto Black people. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. The Lord stands up to plead and stands to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people and the princes thereof, for ye have eaten up the vineyard, the spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces and grind the faces of the poor, says the Lord God of hosts. Moreover, the Lord says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover the secret part. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkering ornaments off their feet, and their calls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and their bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings, the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles and the wimples and crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, thou shalt be a stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of a well-set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she shall be desolate, shall sit upon the ground. Yeah, I can definitely see. I can definitely see a few parts in there. That would lead me to believe that Black people are indeed the topic. Especially when it talks about when it talks about stretch forth necks. Even though I'm pretty sure that that means that you're always looking and wanting for something. I couldn't help but think about the ritual in Africa where they put the jewel around their neck and it literally stretches their neck really long. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I believe it. Instead of well set hair, baldness, I was thinking about these edges being snatched. Um, but yeah, I agree. I agree. Whoa, whoa. You said I don't believe in the rapture at all. And my apologies if that was blasphemous to say. I understood what you meant. I understood what you meant. Um, you said I don't believe in the rapture either. My goodness, Jesus only coming back once. Oh my. So when you say that Jesus is only coming back once, or that you don't believe in the rapture, now rapture I know is a very controversial term. So I'm only using it in the sense of us being caught up in the air to meet the Lord. That's what I'm speaking of. But wouldn't so okay, so you don't think that that's going to happen? So do you think that Jesus already came and that was the time that he came 2000 years ago? I recently suffered from the most intense spiritual attack I've ever had. I realized Satan's minions seem to really F with me when I start cleaning up the sin in my life. Oh, yeah, that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. And that's the hardest part about the walk because you know which way that you need to go. And as you start walking that way, like you said, you start getting attacked from this way and that way. And you're like, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to go that route anymore. It's pretty much the same thing that happened with the children of Israel. The reason why they had to keep going around the same mountain for 40 years and they were stuck in the wilderness for 400 years is because they kept turning back. I'm not saying that you're turning back. I'm just saying they they couldn't handle even being hungry for just a second. So they would turn back. Um, so yeah, definitely sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, you're not alone. We just gotta stay prayed up. The more you learn in Christ, the more attacks and warfare you go through. Knowledge brings sorrow. Yeah, it does. And so that's pretty much why we're told to we need to be renewing our faith, our mind every day, every morning. Because as soon as you wake up and start moving about your day, Katie, stay strong, bro. There's a reason they do this. I've gotten to the point where I laugh during the attack because I know it's not going to break me. I used to suffer from what the world calls sleep paralysis. I'm convinced it's a spiritual attack. Yeah. Um, I've noticed that the demons are just like bullies. Once they notice that you have a weakness somewhere, I'm not saying that you're weak or I'm weak, but just when we have a weakness somewhere we feel like we're lacking, he knows how to exploit that and attack that. Yeah, sleep paralysis and wet dreams are definitely demonic. Yeah. Wet dreams are worse because you don't know if you're having some siren mermaid offspring. If I go a long time living holy, it seems one's coming. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think when they say, when you start having these families in the spiritual world, somehow, some way, it messes with your finances. So yeah, wet dreams can be a natural body release from buildup, but most of the times it's a spiritual attack. Yeah. There not being a rapture makes sense. Read the Bible. When does God not allow his people to go through a tribulation to craft you? The real Jews went through hell, like being exiled to Babylon. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know how. I'm gonna call it a rumor. I know how it got started. That's because you take one scripture and then you just twist it all up to fit your narrative. But Revelations literally says after after those days, and he's talking about the tribulation, is when we're going to see Christ coming in the clouds. So, but yeah, they want to escape it when we're really supposed to have faith through it. Said, I know you can plead the blood of Jesus, it works, but it's not instant like we would like. Still have to suffer some, but it does stop calling on the Father and Son. But it does, yeah, it does start calling the Father, stop Father and Son. Yeah, absolutely. The Bible says all who live godly in Christ will suffer persecution. The rapture has this cop out thing where we'll leave this earth before things get wicked. Yeah. And it's like how that even again doesn't make sense because we see that there's going to be a lot of beheading. Obviously, we see that now. Christians are being persecuted harshly, just in a lot of different countries. But at the end of the days, it's going to happen some more. Those who endure to the end will be saved. As the disciples and people in the Bible suffer for godliness, Christ, why should we have a cop out? Doesn't make sense. Exactly. I mean, poor John the Baptist got his head brought on a platter. So what makes us think darkness doesn't fight fair? No, it doesn't. That's why we have to stay in the light so we can see. Katie, I just said the same thing. I agree, but I'm not sure if there's a rapture or not. I don't care either way, but we should all prepare for what's coming to be safe. Demons and devil are petty. Yeah. I never had a wet dream. I noticed that when I smoke weed, I didn't have dreams. Otherwise, I dream every night and vividly. Probably because I don't know if there's something with having too much THC or the stuff that produces dreams, which is in weed. I don't know. I try to do my best not to stop my dreams, just in case the Lord got something to say. We should always strive for truth and be prepared for anything. Yeah. You said, no, I don't believe we're getting a rapture. Really? I mean, obviously you guys have your reasons for believing that. But the rapture also looks different in the scripture than it does when people speak about it. Like they make it seem as though it's going to be God's people that are going to be raptured out. But in the Bible, the parable is actually the wheat and the tares. And God's people are the wheat, the tares are obviously the wicked people, the wicked ones. And he says the reason why he doesn't pluck up all of the tares right now is because some of the wheat might come along with it. So he's going to wait until the end times. But then it says that the tares are going to be bundled up and then thrown into the fire. And then we are going to inherit the earth. So we're not the ones getting raptured up out of here. The wicked ones are the ones getting raptured up out of here and thrown into the furnace. So, I don't know. I agree. Like it's a blessing if there's a rapture, but we should prepare ourselves for things coming to the earth. Yeah, for sure. Birdman, I rarely ever dream. I hear a lot of people say that they don't dream. You said, I think the weed does something to your mind, and I think the wet dream's probably strong prayer. Wait, off topic, but Superman movie was a bad Superman, but on average standalone movie. What do you mean he was a bad Superman? Like he wasn't good acting wise? He wasn't a good Superman. Yeah, you caught me off guard with that. I don't know what to say about that. The rapture doctrine came from a little girl in Catholicism. I forgot it verbatim, but I find it and mentioned in the next live stream. I've heard, yeah, please do that. I've heard something vaguely about that, but again, that that's the idea that I'm actually speaking about, how God's people are going to be raptured up into the clouds with him and this and that. And they, again, it said it's going to be coming before the tribulation, but that stuff's not biblical. New Jerusalem comes down from heaven. We don't go up to it. Yeah, like I said, I know what y'all are talking about. I mean, bring it to the next discussion, but some of that stuff is not what the Bible is actually saying. I just know when we suffer, we draw close to God. When all is going good, we tend to forget about him. It's a good thing to deal with trials. It keeps the faith strong. Yeah, I think even Paul speaks about it, if I'm not mistaken, on Who Spoke About It. But he talks about having a thorn in the flesh. And pretty much he's got everything down packed, except for this one thing that he calls the thorn. I think we all have that, you know. Some might have multiple things, but everybody has that one thing that just keeps us from being all good so that we don't forget who God is. Yeah, Superman and Batman are super occultic. Yep. No typo. I mean, it was a bad Superman movie. His acting was okay, but he doesn't have the demeanor for the role, though he might have the potential build, although he isn't built and toned. Oh, okay. To be honest, I don't even know who's playing Batman these days. They have jacked up so many of these comic book characters. I just stopped watching. Like, I have no idea where we are in the plot. Even though Superman is the most powerful superhero, I think he's boring to watch. Yeah. I don't remember ever being really into Superman. I was more into Spider-Man than Superman. I've noticed that the last decade, a lot of prophecy has been fulfilled in the revelation sign, in the stars, in the blood moons. Yeah, those are definitely something that have been showing signs of revelation. Again, wars and rumors of wars. You also have the prophecies of there being a lot of signs and miracles that are going to be done. And I'm just noticing a lot more people are using witchcraft openly. So, I mean, a lot of things point to it. And they're really rushing these digital IDs and a lot of stuff that seem to be Mark of the Beast technology. I think we're getting close to the beast, aka Kingdoms Rising. We have to be, because again, if you're putting shows on TV like the Conjuring family or the Conjure family, so that witchcraft gets pushed more to the masses, we have to be close to the end. He's rounding up the rest of the army for the Battle of Armageddon. We all have a thorn, a weakness to us, and to be quite frank, we all have a devil demon assigned to us to keep us from seeking the face of God. Yeah. What's that song? Bohemian Rhapsody sings about it. Like, Beelzebub has the devil put aside for me. So, Robert Patterson's Batman was surprisingly good. Yeah, see, I missed all that. I did not even know he's still Edward to me. I can't see him as Batman. Without adversity, we would need the Messiah. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the Messiah, I don't know how true this is. I'll definitely have to look more into it, but they're saying that Muslims are actually becoming atheists in droves these days. Now, I don't know how true, again, I don't know how true that is. I know that a lot of Muslims get dreams from Christ, but I didn't know that they're saying a lot of them are returning to atheism. But there are a lot of channels that are doing good with Muslim apologetics, like God Logic and David Wood. These people debate Muslims, and a lot of them are actually coming into the realization that something is not adding up with their religion. When the chips came out in debit cards, I said, sounds like the mark of the beast, or sounds like the mark, a chip in the right hand. One can't do commerce without. Yeah. They're definitely making something similar. So I think it's going to actually be a mark in the right hand or the forehead. But I think that the chip technology is going to play right along into it. Because if you notice that they're rolling the stuff out slow, like yeah, they debit cards came out, years ago, and they've been rolling that out. But if you notice, even though they rolled out the the F, the RFID chips in the hand and the scanning of eyes at these jobs, I know a lot of them are overseas, but they've rolled this stuff out already. There's a lot of companies are using this stuff already, but they only do it little by little to see how it goes over, and then they push it some more, and they let it mull over for years, and then they push it some more until it gets to the whole world. Sam Cam, I said the same about never dreaming, but I tend to dream every night. I noticed that when I did certain things, it caused me to dream differently. And as weird as it sounds, spiritually, the Bible says to treat a dream as a dream. Um, I mean, it also says that he speaks to us in dreams. He says that we do so much during the day that we don't pay attention to him, so that when we're sleeping, he opens up our ears and gives us instruction. So it makes sense that when you're doing certain things, you have certain dreams. But even the so-called greats have had dreams and come out with profound inventions and stuff. So Islam got to be the most crafty, tricky belief system out of all 14,000 religions listed. Really? I mean, I think they are tricky. I don't know if they're the craftiest. I don't know, because Islam is hard on women, especially in Islam-based countries. Yeah, they are. Islam is the best side chick of Catholicism. The officially together behind closed doors, but in public they don't know each other. Yeah, Catholicism created Islam. That's what an ex-Jesuit priest said before he died. Islam has the best rules for life for women. I like the idea of my woman wearing a bed sheet with eye peeper holes that no other man sees. I mean, they definitely have something going there, to be honest. And you wouldn't know nothing else. And their eyes be so beautiful, but you wouldn't know nothing else. But I guess it'll be better than what these women are wearing outside these days. It's a doggone shame. Did y'all know eating in your dreams is demonic? Yeah, I mean, eating in your dreams. Obviously, we've talked about sexing in your dreams. Even sometimes swimming in your dreams can be Um, a sign that something's not right. Flying. I heard you flying in your dreams is not good. And I don't know the ins and outs of why. I've just heard different things about what not to do in your dreams, or if you see it, what it means. But yeah, because these demons will feed you something in your dreams, and next thing you know, you're under an oath. Um, Katie, you ain't lying. I've been to Syria and Afghanistan. It's a whole different world there for them. No, my body, my choice, baby killing. Yeah, you couldn't get away with half the things that you do here, over there, or overseas. Period. They're not going for it. Mm-mm. He said the Catholic Church created Islam and has the original text. The Muslims have been trying to get them to release for millennia. Yeah, we'll see if they ever do. Catholic Church got a lot of secrets, a lot of keeping a lot of everybody's secrets. Eating in your dreams and swimming is demonic. Please fill me in. Yeah. So again, you know the scripture that says that we're not supposed to eat things sacrificed to idols. Well, part of the contract when you contract with certain demons and witches and stuff like that is for them, sorry, to have you eat something. Now, most of the time it's going to be flesh, like of someone or a baby that they've sacrificed, and they make you eat the baby meat, and then now you're bound to that person. So that's one thing. And even Daniel in the Bible, he alludes to this. Remember how the Pharaoh had them eating something in particular, and he was like, "No, I'm not going to eat that. We're just going to eat, water and lentils or whatever." So you can't eat everything that people give to you because they actually sacrifice that food or they dedicate that food to their gods, and then now you've made an oath. As far as swimming is concerned, again, it goes back to the water spirits. There's water spirits, mermaids and sirens and all that kind of stuff, and people not only go to the water and go under the water to meet with them, but sometimes those entities come onto the shore and meet with us. And so swimming in your dreams is pretty much you meeting those water spirits. So yeah, it's just yeah, I've just heard bits and pieces. Again, I don't know how true that is. Nope, as long as she isn't wearing the Kentucky Standard bed sheets. Yeah. You said never heard of swimming in your dreams being demonic. You learn something new every day. Yeah. Water is not always good. But the death of Christ died for covering our that's it's blessed and accepted with thanksgiving in terms of meals someone offers. Wait, but the death of Christ died for covering over that it's blessed and accepted with thanksgiving. Um Sorry, I'm not really sure what that's trying to say. I feel like you're saying that Christ's death is celebrated and they honor it over Thanksgiving meals. And I don't think you mean literally Thanksgiving, but that's why I don't eat food at holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving at people's homes. Yeah. Yep. I remember being in these Indian this Indian couple's home, and the day I got there just happened to be one of their holy days, and the wife had made some kind of dessert in honor of that deity. I ain't gonna lie, it was good, but I probably shouldn't have eaten it. It's offensive not to accept, but you don't augur to eat. Yeah, I just want to understand a little bit more what you're saying. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. Yeah. What did I ate? Yeah, I ate that dessert. It was sacrificed to idols. Um, they were a sweet couple, but and I don't know if that ever did anything to me or whatever. But like thinking back on it, I'm like, I probably knew better not to eat that. But the Scopes trial. Are y'all familiar with the Scopes trial? It actually just passed its 100-year anniversary the other day. And so I know that we're going to get into a deeper discussion on the lies that have been told in the textbooks and in the schools. But if you really think about when the start of human secularism entering into schools, it was probably around the time of the Scopes trial. So what had happened was this high school teacher by the name of John T. Scopes was accused of violating a Tennessee code or a Tennessee law called the Butler Act, where they weren't allowed to teach human evolution in public schools. And so he got in his classroom and started teaching what he was teaching, and about three students told on him. And so they actually had this big trial. And he ended up losing the trial and he was found guilty. He ended up having to pay $100 fine. But the argument was against those who believed in human evolution being consistent with the Bible, and the other side was the thought that the Bible actually trumps human knowledge. And so, as you probably can tell, they went back and forth, and human secularism ended up winning out. Um, they ended up going into trial a few times after that, but eventually, again, what came out of the movement was that. And so that's why in schools we're taught about evolution and this and that. But yeah, they just passed. Yeah, they just had the anniversary, and so a lot of the scientific journals were just talking about how science continues to be suppressed these days for the sake of human secularism. Sorry. Um, yeah. I mean, and now it's to the point because what they wanted to do, the outcome that they wanted was if you're going to teach evolution, like you can teach it, but we have to teach creationism at the same time. But the teachers were opposed to teaching creationism because, again, we've always been taught that creation isn't consistent with science. And so that's pretty much when it started being taken out of schools. Well, you said what? I know, right? It was delicious. It was delicious. Have y'all seen the AI videos on YouTube saying they are a Nephilim and they are working for Satan and that they are a good spirit but misunderstood and not in God's grace, but they're quote unquote good? No, I haven't. Um, I'm not surprised. I actually had a guy trying to argue the other day, and I actually have to get back to him, but he was trying to argue that Gnostics were Christians. And I'm like, you talking about the Gnostics who believe that God was the angry, evil creator that wants to keep us from knowledge, and so they praise the serpent for bringing the light? Like, you talking about those Gnostics? Like, people have to stop getting confused. Just because people say the word Christ or Christian doesn't mean that they are Christian. We have to stop the madness. Like, none of the doctrine even adds up to anything written in the Bible, anything talked about by the prophets or the disciples. And but yeah, you want us to believe because you call his name. It's just ridiculous. There's no data to back evolution, but there is archaeological evidence for the stories in the Bible. Exactly, which is crazy. Which I think. So again, as I'm reading about this anniversary of the Scopes trial, I'm just noticing that at the same time, many videos are popping up, or or articles about archaeological evidences proving the stories of the Bible. And that evidence, it's going to start getting louder and louder. People are paying attention. Because we just got done reading, when we have our series reading through the Bible, and we just got done reading Exodus and the plagues. There's so many evidences for Exodus and the plagues and the Hebrews being in Egypt and all kinds of stuff. They're not going to be able to handle all the evidence that's coming out. So I don't know. We might start. I don't know if we're going to see a shift in the school systems, but I believe GPT, yeah, I said it right, is the counterfeit Holy Spirit. So many people rely on it as their source of information. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Because at this point, you don't even have to think anymore. You don't have to have any knowledge. Matter of fact, you don't even have to know how to string a sentence together. You can literally just put in keywords: vacation, sun, beach, and it will write a 500-page article for you. You don't have to know nothing. If you think people are dumb now, and like you said, they rely on it for their information. So whatever that chat GTP or these AI programs say, that's what goes. Even though in a little fine print on the bottom of it, it'll tell you, there might be some errors in this information. Yeah, it's not going to matter. They're about to make life so easy that it's going to become hard. Watch it. I've been reading the Tesla files of the FBI and the Alien Property Office at the last few days. There's like 500 redacted papers, and they mention over and over again that they wanted his tech for the military. Yeah, I don't know what that man was into, but so many of his inventions have made its way into the government hands, and they are willing to kill for it. And I just wonder, did he, they say he got his information from the aliens. They found coins from the Davidic kingdom like 10 years ago. Exactly. They try to say they found information about the Hittites. They try to claim that the Hittites never existed. Um, I mean, there's so many different things. I see someone saying that, yeah, that they are claiming that they found Lot's wife. Yep. And the city being turned into salt and ash, which I already did a video on Sodom and Gomorrah and how they found that their only real sulfur, I'm not gonna say real sulfur, but the natural sulfur is in Gomorrah. That's where you can find natural sulfur at. They got salt licks and everything over there. And so all of these are things that they found that corroborate the Bible. It's almost like a planned attack that they are now allowing the Bible to be true only in the age of Aquarius, where people will only be able to worship themselves. Um, hmm. Okay, so like they're releasing information, but they're not going to allow us to get to it. Um, I mean that, and they've also waited to a time where people have been so distrusting of the Bible. So it might not even matter what evidences they come out with. For most people, they're still not going to believe. Chat GPT is a rough draft version of their counterfeit Holy Spirit. I mean, heck, I feel like they've already had them. All this AI has been doing the same thing. They can talk to it. I mean, matter of fact, you don't even have to be talking to your systems, and that thing will hear you. You can say something that sounds like Alexa or whatever the names of them other programs are. Just anything that sounds remotely like that name, and it'll come on and start listening to you. So that means it can always hear you, right? Mm-mm. It sees you when you're sleeping. Mm-mm. It's pretty convincing. Why won't ChatGPT do coding homework though? I don't know. I just can't. I just cannot um, lend my mind to it. Like I can't imagine being a writer and then now all of a sudden I'm using ChatGPT. I can't even say it. I don't even know what it's called. ChatGPT to do my writing. I'm not going to do it. Just cannot. Be a fraud. I took English in college too early. I'm mad. I had to actually write my own papers. See, that's the thing. I loved writing. But yeah, who would do work if they didn't have to? A lot of test experiments have been proven over and over again. Basically, everything we own came from him. Yeah, basically. I was actually interested in seeing. Did y'all notice them talk about the wireless transmitters, even with the Titanic? So this is stuff that they had. They could even send wireless messages and stuff back in that time. So again, stuff that we think is new, that's not new. Tesla claims at night small midget I don't even know what. Tesla claimed at night small midget creatures and fairies came and left him notes for his inventions. They don't talk about stuff like that. Look into how many famous people use automatic writing. Okay, didn't know that. That's weird, but I don't put it past them. Um, yeah, I'll definitely have to do that. I know that Einstein is somebody who said that he had dreams for certain inventions, but honestly, the only person that I know has said that they used automatic writing is J.K. Rowling. But yeah, I want to definitely know. So if you're not familiar with, sorry, I know sometimes we talk about stuff. Automatic writing. So automatic writing I don't know if you would call it a form of divination, but it is a form of channeling. So these people don't have to have any consciousness or knowledge about what they are writing. I don't, I guess something comes into them and just starts writing for them, just starts, all they're doing is holding the pen pretty much. And the spirit is writing for them. Um, yeah, and it always gives some kind of special insight or some type of prophecy. Again, with J.K. Rowling, she says that when she sat on that train, she had her whole book, her whole Harry Potter series, however many books it was, came to her just like that. So a lot of people attribute it to spirit guides and stuff. It's pretty much just like a form of ventriloquism, but with writing. Yeah, that's crazy. They're releasing information because people are so dead dumb and blind that they won't believe no matter how much information gets released. Exactly. Um, exactly. And people are so. I saw somebody on the thread. It might have been yesterday or today, but they said they were mocking, but they said something about the big man in the sky. That whole line of thought. And I wrote and I said, God is a spirit. Like, I don't know anyone who believes that there's a big man sitting in the sky. And do you know that this man had the nerve to write me back saying that that's all he's ever heard, and there are certain cultures and civilizations that actually believe that there's a man sitting in the sky? Now, I'm ignorant to that. I know people were trying to be funny with the whole flying spaghetti monster and stuff like that, but to actually believe that there's a man sitting in the sky, I didn't know that people actually thought that. And I didn't know that people actually thought that that's what we believed. And so I say that to say, so people are just, I, I guess information is coming from so many different places. They don't even know what they don't even know what they believe, let alone what other people believe. And that's how they've created so many straw man arguments. They be arguing against stuff that you don't even believe. I'm like, what? That's why you never can come to a healthy conclusion, because your premises are all jacked up. I've been to Tesla's hometown in Colorado. So many claims are made there about what he made and was working on. If you study electromagnetics and electrogravitics, it 100% proves free energy and UFOs. I mean, yeah. And here's the thing about it. There are a lot of inventors, even now, that are coming up with a lot of inventions using free energy. Now, do those people stay alive? No. There's a guy right now, he's actually a black guy. He I think part of his invention is using um I'm about to say this wrong. Is it hydroelectronics? Hydroelectrics? Yeah, there's so many people that have a lot of information, a lot of technology, but they don't let them live long. So where not only they can power the whole world with this free energy, but even give us clean drinking water without any hassle. But they're not going to let them do it. One of my high school friends works on laser technology and from one of the largest military industrial companies. He says there's no green men flying saucers. That's our tech. Yeah, I feel like they've admitted that too. There's an old video from World War II showing them test flying UFOs. So we've had the tech from at least That time, a famous scientist said we mastered gravity tech before 1950. I mean, yeah, Nazis had UFO looking ships. So I don't know, y'all. Tesla had tons of journals mentioning the creatures that helped him. Did he really? See, that's what I'm thinking. I figured he was into something like that. That's crazy. I gotta look that up. It's basically channeling a spirit to write. Yeah. So some of our forefathers or founding fathers were into automatic writing. Really? I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I know a lot of them were Masons, Freemasons, and even freaking what's his name, Ben Franklin. He was part of the Hellfire clubs. Hellfire clubs are they're fraternities, but they pretty much do the most debaucherous things that you can imagine, to the point where they have to go and have their meetings in caves so no one sees what's going on. And a lot of them are connected to the Ninth Circle satanic sacrifice cult, which I've done a video on. You guys can check that out, but pretty sick stuff. I'd write some amazing novels if they pay well. They do pay well. You'll get money off this money. I mean, off these writings. So he exposed his own ignorance to Christianity and created a red herring. Yeah, pretty much. But he was so shocked that there were people that didn't actually believe there was a man sitting in the sky. And I just couldn't believe that. I was like, wait, what? It's craziness. The Bible speaks about the dome and how the Father uses it as a looking glass to look upon the earth. Yep. The dome above the earth, the so-called original glass ceiling that even the rockets can't bust through. It breaks it all into pieces. But hello, good evening. Good evening. It's good to see you. I hope all is well. It's been a minute. You still at work today? I know it used to be you would listen in at work. I hope all is well. Let's see. You can make a free energy device at home with magnets and copper and some electricity. Yeah. I've actually seen some videos of people doing that as well. But again, a lot of these people, you don't hear from them too long. We will never have free energy. The whole world is run on oil. Yeah, the way that they've made it. I mean, I know they're trying to get rid of a lot of machines that use oil and stuff. So I guess we'll see where they head with this. They off the guy who made the hydrogen and water car. Exactly. Yep. It's so sad that you just can't you can't be your own person, have your own mind, be really smart, invent stuff, help your fellow man out. Not allowed. A lot of America's history is Masonic. Look into the laying of the cornerstone ceremony in the country's earlier years. The paper mentions all the dressed in Masonic dressing doing a ritual in open sight. Okay, I'll definitely look into that. I feel like that is talked about in the book The Symbol and some other books. The Symbol is the one I told you guys about, pretty much how I got brought into the rabbit hole in the first place. When I realized, oh, wait, monuments like the Washington Monument and the Pentagon and all these other places are like occultic buildings. and they're placed in occultic shapes, Masonic shapes. And when they build them, even the height of them or the width of them, the numbers all mean something. I'm driving now, so I'll be listening until I reach my destination. Okay, cool. Cool, cool. You said, how can you make good money on some novels? Oh man, shoot. How can you not? A lot of people just, first of all, got to understand people read. Yeah, we're in technology age, but people still read. Um, Even little small ebooks. You can write ebooks on anything. So I used to write for, do y'all remember this company called eHow? I don't even know if they're still around these days, but it was a platform that you could write for, and they would pay you, pretty much just like a website. They pay you per click, and people come into your website. Anyways, even little how to do books, recipe books, or just whatever. Get it, self-publish it, put it on Amazon, or make you a website and create a digital link for people to go and download it. I mean, it could be about anything. It could be a science novel. People love science fiction. Obviously, people love conspiracy. I mean, there's so many things that you could write about. And here's the thing about it, because and I've heard another channel talk about this, because you don't have to be a full-on writer, right? You don't have to be somebody who gets onto a keyboard and types. Just voice recorder. Speak out everything that you want to say, and just have a program transcribe it for you. All you got to do is format it, edit it, clean up the grammar and the spelling errors, slap a cover on that. And you can get if you're not someone who designs, there's platforms like Fiverr. You can get a cheap, you can get an artist to design something for you for cheap. Like I just self-published a coloring book back in, I guess it was like last April, May. Man, I just grabbed different artists. I just sent them pictures. Hey, draw this for me. Draw this for me. I maybe spent about $350 paying artists to do that, putting that all together. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it. Yeah, that too. I mean, again, if you want to go the route of not writing your own books, yeah, ChatGTP. Again, just put in your keywords and it'll write it for you. So I had a friend make 16K with ChatGPT selling books he wrote. See, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Washington has a huge pentagram around it. Yeah. And not only that, y'all, there's so many different programs to help you do a lot of different things. Canva, if you are somebody who makes infographics or um, cards or anything like that, Canva has to where you can design and then put your designs on their platform, and people with like premium um, subscriptions and stuff can download your stuff and obviously pay a fee for it. You can make money. Man, there's so many different ways to make money. So many different ways. So many programs to help you do what you need to do. And these are free programs too. Canva, yeah, the premium is pretty cool because there's stuff that you can't get on the free side, but you can flip this stuff and make you some money. Dragon is a good system that writes for you. See, I never heard of that. Nuance Dragon Home. I used to work it from, I use it for work. Now I use it for personal. Okay. Yeah. This way to become rich is to become a politician. Yeah, you can definitely do that. You can definitely do that. You got to get voted in though. So you got to be doing something that makes the people want to say, yeah, him or her. Shoot, I'm gonna look into that. I'm really gonna try to get this YouTube popping off by the end of the year. Yeah, yeah, YouTube is good. I know there's obviously channels that make a lot of money, especially if you can bypass, if you can get a channel, make a channel that flies under the radar of censorship, copyright, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can definitely make some money on YouTube. I was well on my way, but I do not have a channel that YouTube likes. So, yeah, you said I disappeared for a bit. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Understandably, like the bigger channels, people that have been around for a while also have writers, they have researchers, they have producers, they have people that do the video editing for them. So yeah, they can chill. Like I've seen channels, they're dropping like 10, 15 videos a day. I would love to, but I can't because I'm just one person and you're probably just one person right now too. So don't be hard on yourself. Be as consistent as you can. And also, what I think is also beneficial about doing things in your own time is that you don't get burned out. It's really, really easy, especially with doing something like this, to get burned out. And you see a lot of people lose themselves and stuff. And one thing that I learned, especially when I had my office, and when you're an entrepreneur, you have a business, man, so much time and energy goes into building your business that sometimes friends get neglected, family gets neglected, just things like that falls to the wayside and it shouldn't. So yeah, take the time to design it how you want it designed, but I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. And no, no, no. You said I laugh when people say we live in a free country. Yeah, definitely not. Shoot, my political campaign finna be free. Weave if you vote for me. Yeah, you definitely be able to get some people on your side. Yeah, I've heard that too. A lot of big creators are CIA paid shills. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. A lot of these are not their own thoughts. These people come to them and say, "Hey, if you promote this or if you create this narrative, if you create this divide, we'll pay you X amount of dollars." A lot of people are speaking up about that. It's crazy. Our government's main currency is influence. You don't get that big without a relationship with the three-letter agencies. Nope, 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 nope. A bunch of creators were exposed early last year for getting paid by Russia to create videos politically. Look it up. Yep, saw that. But that's the thing. They pay attention to who can be bought and paid for. They pay attention to who the weak ones are in society, and they put things in front of them to encourage them to act in a particular way. I mean, just like when you said that a bunch of content creators are getting paid by Russia to create videos, for whatever reason, it made me think about these riots and how people would say, yeah, in some cities they would walk around the corner and it would be a whole pile of bricks just sitting there, you know, bricks so that people can pick them up and go bust out the windows of these stores. You know, that's what these people do. They play into your emotions. They try to find your weaknesses. Progressive Victory pays a lot of these creators, excuse me, for their talking points. A lot of creators have admitted to being paid by them. Yeah. It's sad because this influence is working. 99% of people are misinformed about Russia. I probably would be one of those people. I can't say I know too much. They were getting paid hundreds of thousands each, then said, I don't know who I was getting the money from. Like unknown sponsorships don't give a random YouTuber hundreds of thousands. That and you just take it without knowing where it comes from? I don't think so. That's crazy. And where's that money coming from? I feel like it's blood money and then they're just paying it to you. It's your blood. Money from your blood and they just pay for it. The only reason there hasn't been a World War III is because Russia has more self-control and not an appetite for war we have. Oof. If I get money from Russia, y'all gonna know because I'm gonna be speaking Russian. I promise you I'm taking that money. I mean, if you take a large sum of money like that, they're never letting you go. You're not going to be able to just do this for 1 year and talk about what they want you to talk about, and then the next year switch it up. That's not going to happen. The U.S. pays the most to influence other countries. We have done the most meddling in foreign countries and the most coups. I know, right? We're always in somebody else's business. But how else do you conquer the world? 'Cause that's what they're trying to do. Conquer the world. Realistically, I've been scared for my life because that's a lot of money and Russia don't play. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even, it's just like getting in the bed with a mob. You're going to always have to do what they say. You can't get out unless it's with your life. I can't live like that. Our foreign policy is trash. We do more for other countries than our people. Yeah, why is that? Why do you think that is? They send so much money in foreign aid to other places. They'll give other places, I mean, they'll literally helicopter food, water, all kinds of stuff. But you go right down to the highway under the underpass and it's homeless, living under their tent, people hungry. People needing work. Either you finna box for your life or your life getting boxed. Yeah, because our politicians are bought and paid for, they aren't for us. But that's the thing. When I did the video on the US corporation, I was like, oh, they were never for us. These laws were never for the American people. These laws have always been for the protection and the money making abilities of the corporation. The laws are to keep us in line. to keep us from interfering in what they have going on. They're not for us. I always wondered why they even cared about us wearing seatbelts. I'm like, why do they care about whether or not, I know this sounds morbid, I'm not trying to be that way, but why do they care whether or not someone loses their life in a car crash? I'm like, oh, because y'all have to come out of pocket and pay money to clean it up. It's not because you care about people so much. For all the money we have sent to Israel and Ukraine, we could have cured homelessness in the US and gave everyone another stimmy check. Something. There's just way too much. I don't know. It just pains me to see all the homelessness and the people that are hungry. It just hurts my heart. And they especially do it to the veterans, people that have actually gone and fought and tried and were willing to lay down their lives for this foolishness. And they come back here, they can't even get any mental help. They can't, their benefits are all over the place, nowhere to live. It's super sad. The police are here super militarized now. Even in small rural towns, they have military gear like Bearcats. It's crazy. And I'm seeing that they're starting to test these robots as well. Like literally robot cops, I guess you can say. I don't know if they're going to have weapons, but I seen one running down the sidewalk. I was like, man, we're not going to be able to outrun that. We're not going to be able to overpower a freaking robot. Could you imagine? And if they wanted to turn on us like our robot, we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. They aren't here to serve you, but subjugate you. Yeah, subjugate. Exactly. They are dumb as a dead clownfish if they really think RoboCop is a real life valid idea. That's what it seems to be. I've seen them cooking, I've seen them waitressing. Like I said, they got the cops out there now. You see the ones that are working in the medical field. They have the robots doing surgery now. I mean, they got them going on dates now. They're really setting up to have you date robots and AI. Uh, I always laugh when police show up and say they're here to help, but they really taking you to jail. But does that help? No. And you know what else I can't stand? Why is it if I call 911 and I mean I want an ambulance or something, why do the police show up? That boils my britches watching, videos where, or like, for instance, I saw one not too long ago. The guy was having a fire in his house. So he's literally trying to put the fire out, and the cops come. And the cops show up before the fire trucks show up. And long story short, this man ends up getting arrested. He ends up getting arrested. Why? Because they told him not to keep going back in the house. And he was like, but I don't want my house to burn down. And they arrested him for that. It's just overstepping. You said, not gonna lie, I want to see two robots dating. Listen, if the two robots are together, that's one thing. But robot and person, that's weird. And I apologize if any of y'all are thinking about doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to call you names, but that's weird. There's folks dating robots and AI. No, for real. They cannot wait on it. I just don't understand what the point is. Police more nosy than a baby mama. They're definitely annoying. Not all of them. I know there's some good cops out there, but there's ones that you can see join just so they can terrorize people. Like they get off roughing people up and all that nonsense. I just watched a video where a cop entered someone's home without knocking and shot the guy's dog and then blamed the dog for coming after him and refused the owner entry to the home. The dog died. Yeah. These people are crazy. Mm-hmm. And very dangerous that they have the authority and then the weaponry to do what they want. He wouldn't let the homeowner render aid to the dog, said the man can't go in his own home. Yeah, that stuff just boils my blood. Implied immunity must be taken away. And how? The rich how are the rich gonna get richer? How do the elites get richer if you take away? Because that means if they do something wrong, it's gonna come out of their pocket. You said I low key almost started flirting with a white cop. I was conflicted. She had a little vibe. Mrs. Officer, Mrs. Officer. Listen, to each their own. To each their own. But I don't know, y'all. Um, Stay vigilant, right? Stay prayed up. We talk about this often. Walk circumspectly. The devil is out there like a roaring lion, seeking who he may devour. And they're pushing harder and harder, faster and faster. And so I don't know what they get in some of these women to become cops, but some of them don't look like they should be a police officer. The out here temptresses, they probably are. They probably are. Because it's just like the reason why you would have a sex kitten in your MK Ultra arsenal, you know, because that's gonna always get you the men who fall for that type of stuff, where you can just get them to spill the beans just by flashing some nipples. Like they have to have people in place for those type of people. But I don't know. They must not care about women's safety. I've seen numerous videos of men overpowering women officers. I mean, it's their choice to join the force, right? Just like women in the military. It's their choice to go out there and do that type of work. And I say that as a woman who had a military mother. Um, I don't know, but I also see a lot of the women cops. I mean, obviously a lot of the men are just super aggressive, but a lot of the women cops, it's almost as though they try to show out. And so I don't know, I just see them escalate a lot of stuff. But I still can't say I see, bad women cops more than I see bad men cops. Let's see. Shorty look like a Disney princess. Why are y'all like this with a badge? And she laughed at my little joke. I said, no, you're not finna honeypot me. Nope. You're always running into somebody who you gotta tell them that they're not finna do something. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Interactions with you, I just gotta see your day-to-day life because you seem like you got a lot going on. Um I saw a 60-year-old man tell this female cop, I can't even read this. I saw a 60-year-old man tell this female cop to make him do something. He said, lady, I'll break you, and you could tell she was scared. I bet. I bet. That brought tears to my eyes. Because guess what? Even at 60 years old, he can. He's got that old man strength. Well, word is that women police be sleeping with the higher up. There was a recent case where a girl was dating the chief and he covered up her violating someone's rights. Yeah. And it wasn't the police that one lady had banged, like she had banged the entire unit. I don't know, y'all. Why does every lesbian become a police officer? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but they are definitely extra aggressive. Um, that is hilarious. Dang, she must have had some miles on her. Mm, too funny. Okay, y'all. Let me see. I listened to this lesbian cop talk about her partner beating her behind. I couldn't help but laugh. That's crazy. Maybe fighting. But I imagine like one is probably always trying to assert dominance over the other. They're probably just, I don't know, being women, being catty women together. He said I was like finally being gay isn't cool anymore. They be fighting. They have the highest domestic violence rates out of all of the couple pairings. Yeah, I'd be just minding my business in the wilderness like Johnny. Okay, it seems like it. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna get ready to get off of here. I got some more pizza to eat. But let's see, what do I have coming up? I am working, like I said earlier, I am working on germ theory and terrain theory. That's going to be partly a breakdown of the mRNA vaccine hearing that they just had. So we'll definitely break that down and talk about the science behind that. So that'll be a science video. I need a list of more videos that you that or topics that you would like. I loved that you guys gave me a list last time, and I just kind of worked through that. So I know I still owe you Hollow Earth, and I believe somebody asked me for a Job video. So I do. I have not. Can't talk tonight. I have not forgotten about those. Um. Again, I do still have more of the Bloodline series coming up. I've got a lot of topics going on. I think I'm writing about like 5 different topics right now. So so just look forward to those coming out. Again, if you do have any ideas, anything anything that you want me to research and make a video about, please let me know. Being a lesbian is a myth since they still use wiener dildos. They had a talk about that the other day, but I don't remember what the lesbians' response was to why they still use dildos. But hey. That vaccine is making zombies of people dropping dead. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to try to get that one pushed out first because obviously we're coming into a new season of flu vaccines. And again, they're going to try to push more strains of the COVID vaccine. They have released these mosquito. There's a lot that they're going to try to push, y'all. So just to keep ourselves abreast on what it all means, we're going to definitely break it down. Job was a G. He was dedicated. Exactly. So we're going to talk about that. And again, the book of Job has a lot of science in it. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Let me finish my thought about Job. Job has a lot of science in it. So hopefully we'll be able to pull some stuff out and get some science videos going. But Exodus, I do have a video about the evidences of Exodus coming. So yeah, I just got a lot of ideas I'm working on. Most people would have gave in when their children were taken. Job was a real one. Yeah. Losing all like he did. Back to back to back like he did. Yep. You said, can you make a video about true lesbianism don't exist? Okay, I will wrap my head around that idea. True lesbianism doesn't exist. Okay. And I will see what I can do to make an argument for that. Okay, there's a YouTube video that really supports the Exodus finding chariots in the water and the pillars. Exactly, yeah. And they've been finding pillars for years, which is the crazy part about it. I think that's one of the first evidences that I've ever known about as far as the parting of the Red Sea and that whole thing. So yeah, really cool video with that. So I got some history coming, science coming, conspiracy coming. Yeah, so just let me know what else. The real mountain God rains fire on is in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I've noticed that they've been speaking a lot about Saudi Arabia and what they are finding there. So maybe that's the topic as well. Apex sexuality. Okay. Okay, I'll see what I can find on that topic and I'll incorporate that in. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another discussion. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you for the laughter and the knowledge. And God willing, I'll see you guys back here next week. All right. Bye now.